welcome everybody. Thank you for being here today. So you guys are going to get a lot of information today about federal and state aid and what's been going on in the industry. I moved the screen a little bit. Can everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
All right. It's not blurry or anything?
No.
Okay, good. So my name is Ruben Reyes, and I am with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization. We've been around since 1981, helping students and families with the financial aid process. I am actually with the outreach department. I'm lucky enough to go out and actually work with students and families to help them with the financial aid. In general, a lot of the FAFSA workshops and things like that, which I'll be talking about. That's a big deal, of course, for federal aid. So again, thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and get started here with our first screen. And I did put some stuff out there for you guys in your bag. And if there's extras out there, you're also welcome to take some additional if you like. Okay. So what is our goal? For New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation, our goal is to increase FAFSA completion rates for New Mexico. And the reason for that is because there's a lot of data that tells us that if a student, if a student completes the FAFSA form, it is most likely that they will attend some type of post-secondary institution in the fall after their graduating year. Okay? And that has been like that for many, many years now. So that's why it's important. Young minds, especially teenagers, they're still not sure what they want to do. And sometimes they don't do the FAFSA form thinking they're not going to go to college. And sometimes they come back and get it done. But it's always a good idea to promote the FAFSA if they want to go, it's already done, and then the financial aid office to work with them to make sure they get the federal aid that's available to them to attend a college or university. Anywhere in the country, of course, when we're talking about federal aid, and the FAFSA is the application for federal student aid. So this is why it's important to us. Another reason it's important to us because it's important to New Mexico, right? The more students we get educated, the better our workforce. So that is important. You know, that's another reason that we do what we do, is to try to get more educated students out to the workforce, which improves our economy here in New Mexico as well. So what do we do to help students and families out there? We educate. We educate about the FAFSA form. We educate about financial aid. We educate about state aid. We let them know all the resources and things that are available to them so they get the help they need, especially first-generation students, right? They've never done this before. They don't have parents that have ever done this before, right? So we're out there and we educate and we help them. And sometimes we do hands-on help, sometimes we do virtual help. And we're out in the community. We're all over New Mexico, by the way, because we are a statewide outreach program. Some of the things that we do here in New Mexico is, I'm going to talk about a few. These are only a few, but we have what is known as FAFSA Money Mondays. So what this is, a parent or student can log in virtually and ask any questions about college, about paying for college. They can get help getting their form done. This is a really good thing because not only do we help them virtually, but we have financial aid professionals that log in with us and help those students and parents to log in. And we do this every Monday, and we do this every year. Another thing that we do all across New Mexico as well, and we do this virtually and in person. I will go to high schools and I will present on the financial aid process. I will do this virtually, and I go there in person as well. You know, depending on our schedules, we try to be there in person. FSAID workshops, FAFSA workshops, we do those all over the state as well. Again, that's a hands-on process. That's me there on the table with those students. I believe were from Santa Fe High School. We had a really good day that day. Most of the students that came in there got their FSAID done that day, and that's important. We help them with that. Our website has tons of resources that are available. A lot of the things that I put in your bag, you'll find information and you'll find stuff on our website that you can get to digitally as well. Everything that we have in physical form, you will find in digital form as well. Although right now at this point in time, we are updating our website for the next cycle that's coming up, for the 25-26 FAFSA cycle that's coming up for federal aid. I'll talk a little bit more about that. Another thing that we do every year is we always have special events. For example, here's one here that we did at the Balloon Fiesta. We called it the FAFSA Lift Up. We're doing this again this year, and this year we're going to be out there again with the Balloon Fiesta, and I believe we're going to do a Counselor Appreciation Day at the Balloon Fiesta And we bring in counselors and their guests, and we pay for their attendance there. We have food there. We make it a fun day for everybody. And of course, we have them bring any students that they want to bring with them as well to the event. They can bring a guest. Another thing that New Mexico Educational Assistance does as well is we do the annual FAFSA training statewide. We do this every year. This past year we had it at C&M, and we have counselors from all over the state, teachers and folks that want to learn on how to help students and families with the form. They come to this training, and we help them with that process as well. And we have a trainer that comes in and does the training for us, and she does a great job with it. So this is something that is available and is open to anybody that wants to come, and I'll talk a little bit more about that too. And we also have college and career days, and this one actually, I called it Picture Perfect. We had a college and career day in our facility, and of course we always invite special guests. And this one here, we actually invited the governor of New Mexico, and she showed up. So, you know, you never know. Just sometimes you got to throw those invites out there and see if they come or not. You know, so she actually showed up to our college and career day at our facility for that one there. This one was, I think, just a couple of years ago. So these are just a few of the outreach activities that we do all over New Mexico. Again, we are educating, we are promoting, we are doing everything we can to let students and family know what's available to them and the resources that are available to them. So distribution of materials. So the packet that I left on your chair there, I just put a few of the examples that we have, and I put those in there for you. And the reason I want to give these types of things to you, because I want you to know that these resources are out there. And if you need these resources for your schools, your students, all you have to do is get a hold of us, and we will get them to you. But I do want to let you know a few things that we do. A lot of these materials that we have, we actually mail them out directly to the students' homes, okay? And the reason, or the way we're able to do that is because we have what is known as data use agreements with many of the districts in New Mexico. So with these data use agreements, we have their phone numbers, we have their email addresses, we have their addresses to their homes, right? So we actually help many of the districts here in New Mexico by providing all of these resources directly to those students and families. You know, a lot of times we know we're getting these materials to the student, right? Which is great, but I've had a teenager, you know, that went through college, and when he was a teenager, we used to find stuff in his backpack all the time that we never, you know, we didn't see it on time. Well, what's this? Well, this was 2 weeks ago. Why didn't you tell us about it? You know, and we know those types of things happen. So sometimes we know getting these brochures and getting this material directly in the hands of the parents is key, and we try to do that as well. Because we know mom and dad and guardian are the ones that are pushing them to do the things that they should be doing at this point in time to prepare for post-secondary education, okay? So a lot of times we will actually mail these out directly, and we will get these in the hands of the parents as well. So again, these are just a few of the examples that I put in your packet, but these resources are available to you, and that's why I want to put those out there. And we do update them every year. Also, we have our monthly newsletter. So the monthly newsletter we send out every month. And I really, really want to encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, okay? And it's really easy. Just send me an email at outreach@nmeaf.org and say, please add me to your newsletter. Every month, I send out information on what's going on with the FAFSA form, what's going on in the industry, and things that we're doing, right? The one that we just sent out in August, and if you would like the August newsletter that we just sent out, just let me know on the email. Please send me the previous newsletter that you just sent out, and I will send you the one that we just sent out a couple weeks ago. And we put all kinds of information on what's going on. Okay, for example, I'm just going to give you a few things we're working on right now. The one I just mentioned, the Balloon Fiesta, the Counselor Appreciation Day. Okay, so that'll be out there. There's going to be an opportunity where counselors can say, or teachers can say, I would like to attend. Right, and then we put them in the pool, and then we're going to select so many for the event, because I'm not sure how many tickets we bought, but we did buy quite a few, and we'll have those random drawings. We'll pull it, we'll give them tickets, invite them, and hopefully we'll have a really good event on, I believe this one is going to be October 11th for the Balloon Fiesta. Another thing we're working on right now, of course, is the training, the FAFSA training for the 25-26 FAFSA cycle. We still have not selected a date for that, but when we do, that will come out via our newsletter, right? We will send that out, say register here if you want to come, and then we'll send you all the information on where that's going to be and that way you can participate. Okay, and again, all this is free. There's no cost to any of this. Okay, we do this as part of our public service mission. Okay, so there's no cost to you at all. In-person virtual presentations, financial aid nights, FSAID sessions. Those are some of the things that we're doing right now. Counselors all over the state know to contact us about this point in time and to book us for a financial aid night. That's where I would come in and speak to the students and parents, either in person or virtually. So again, that's a resource that's available to you for your schools if you have somebody asking. I wish somebody could come and talk to our students. Well, yeah, I know somebody, you know, and that's why we're there. You can get a hold of me directly, or you just send us an email, and then we can see if we can get you on our schedule. Again, that does actually get booked up fairly quickly, so this is the point in time where you want to do that. We're doing in-classroom sessions. This worked out really well last year, and I'll talk about the FSAID, but we had FSAID classroom sessions. That worked out really well. We did a lot of virtuals, so the teacher would get all their students in a classroom like this, and we'd help the whole group all at the same time. You know, that worked out really well, and we did a lot of that last year. And of course, right now, I did put an example of one of our brochures in your packet as well. These brochures, bless you, these brochures we actually produce every year. And we're working on the new ones right now. Bless you. We're working on the new ones right now. Those should be available here probably in the next few weeks or so, or within the next month or so. We'll have the new ones come out. And again, we distribute these directly to students' homes. We distribute these to high schools, and we get these all out all over the state of New Mexico. And again, these are available in digital form as well. You'll be able to download them on our website. Again, these are materials that are available. Something we're very proud of that we've been doing for many, many years. We have what is known as the $500 FAFSA Scholarship. Every year we give out scholarships to high school students, and this is probably the easiest scholarship they ever have to do. All they have to do is go on our website and register for the scholarship. And we'll actually just do a random poll, and we'll just select a winner every month. We'll call them, and all they have to say is, yes, I completed my FAFSA, and that's all they have to do to qualify. And then what we do is we send that check. Matter of fact, we're doing that right now. We're sending checks out to colleges and universities, to whatever school they tell us to send the check to, and that goes into the student's account. So again, that could pay for some books or something as well. So $500, you know, it takes them about 15 seconds to get that filled out, hit submit, and that's all it is. And they stay in the pool every month, by the way. So we do this every month. It will start again actually in September. We're going to start again. So we're going to do this all the way up through just in January. We'll have our first drawing, and we're going to have four winners in January. Again, these are just going to be random drawings that we do. So really, really easy way to win $500 scholarship. And we've had many, many winners in the past. And we've been doing this for many, many years. So that's just a little bit about New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. I just wanted to share that with you, just so you know we're out there and what we do for you, what we can do for your schools. Okay? But why are we really here? So we're here to learn more about the financial aid and state aid, right? So what's going on there? What's going on in the industry? Things that, you know, you may know or you may not know. And hopefully I can, you know, share some information that you did not know today and that you may or may not find interesting. You know, financial aid is it's something that's you know, it's not an easy thing to talk about when you're out in the field and working with students and parents. You know, you really have to try to keep the attention of the students, and that's hard to do when you're talking about financial aid. The parents tend to listen a little more than the parents, I'll be honest with you. But again, the more they hear this, the more they know. Okay. Now, usually I start off about talking about federal aid that's available, but right now I'm going to go ahead and start talking about state aid. You know, here we are in New Mexico, and I'm sure most of you have heard about the Opportunity Scholarship and the Lottery Scholarship. These are two really great programs for our students here in New Mexico. Now, this applies only for students that are going to stay in-state and attend a public college or university. When these programs first came out just a couple of years ago, we were just a little bit concerned. Well, this is great, but how long can we do this? You know, how long can we do this? We're a little bit nervous because we knew, wow, this is going to take a lot of money to continue funding for years, right? First couple of years, we were really nervous. Are we going to be able to fund this for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road? Or is this just for these 2 years that we're just talking about it now? So the Opportunity Scholarship and the Lottery Scholarship I think it's going to be around for a little while yet. And the reason for that is recently the governor signed a bill creating a trust fund for close to $1 billion, $959 million. I don't know if you guys heard about that or not, but this is fairly recent, right? So that made us feel a lot better, because it's like, okay, how are we going to be able to fund this for years to come, right? And this is the funding that's going to keep that opportunity scholarship out there for a while. Okay, this is a lot of money that will be able to help our students in New Mexico. And again, this is just based on students that are going to attend a public college or university here in the state of New Mexico. So this is a good reason for them to stay here, at least the first couple of years. You know, they can get a lot of help there in terms of paying for college. You know, what's also great about these programs is it's available to all New Mexico residents, okay? Available to all New Mexico residents. Now, there's some speculations in there as well, and, you know, I'm going to show you some information that you can get some of the details on there, because I don't want to spend too much time on there, because I know we don't have that much time to go over things. But state aid here in New Mexico, we're probably one of the only states in the country that has a program this robust in terms of state aid. We really are. You know, the governor's done a really good job on getting this money together and creating this program and creating this free college initiative here in New Mexico. Of course, sometimes students hear free college and they think everything's paid for. It is not. We all know here, you're going to attend a school, so you're going to attend New Mexico State University. You still have, you know, room and board. You still have those meal plans. We know that is very expensive. And, you know, because when they hear free college, sometimes, well, good, everything's covered. Well, no, not quite. It's your tuition and some of your fees that are covered, and it covers a good chunk of that. But if you're looking to go to a school away from home, you also need to think about your room and board and of course your meal plan. You know, kids eat a lot, so. But they structured this really well. These brochures that New Mexico Higher Education Department put out, they did a really good job with these brochures, and I'll show you in a bit where you can download those as well. But basically what happens here is the Financial Aid Office will add the lottery scholarship, they'll add the opportunity scholarship, and anything else above that when they're creating the student's financial aid package. The Financial Aid Office, that's their job, right? They need to put this package together to be able to send that to the student. If you come to our college or university, this is what you qualify for at our institution. Now, it's different at different schools, right? But here in New Mexico, they're probably very similar in terms of what they're offering. And then the student can make a decision on which school is the best fit for them in terms of the financial aid, that award offerings that they're receiving from that school. And that's going to come from state aid. Now, state aid is wonderful as well because guess what? The student doesn't even need to complete an application. They don't even need to do an application, not for the lottery scholarship or the opportunity scholarship. These are automatic, meaning the Financial Aid Office will automatically package those in their award offer. So the student does not have to do anything to get these in their award offer, right? They will package it then. But they do need to keep some things in mind. They need to know, well, how many hours do I need to enroll for to qualify for? You know, how long does it last? You know, is there things I need to know? Yes, there is. For example, if a student is going to be attending a four-year institution, they need to make sure they enroll in at least 15 credit hours. If they're going to enroll in a two-year institution, they need to know they need to enroll at least 12 credit hours. If they fall below those credit hours, they could lose their scholarship money, right, from the state aid. So these are the types of things that we educate when we go out and speak in public and we speak to students and families. These are the types of things we talk about. Yes, it's there for you, but you also need to know, you want to be careful that you do the things you need to do to continue receiving that state aid and you do not lose it, right? For example, if a student goes out of state and comes back, they do not qualify for the lottery scholarship or the opportunity scholarship. They have to attend a public college university here in New Mexico within 16 months after they graduate. Okay? So they do have a little time. They do have a little time yet, but we always try to say, you know what, just enroll in the fall and start. Sometimes when students take that 16-month gap, they end up doing other things and they don't end up going to college sometimes. So we always try to promote, try to go to school in the fall after you're graduating here. Okay, but they do have up to 16 months to qualify for state aid for the opportunity and lottery scholarship.
how many years can they get that for?
I believe it is, and it's going to be 16 months, I believe. I want to say 3 semesters, or up to 3 or 4 semesters. And I don't have that in front of me, but I want to say 3 or 4 semesters on there. So there's a certain point in time where it cuts off, and I think it's 3 or 4. Okay, but I'll clarify that for you before we leave. I don't want to give you the wrong answer, so I just need to Google that. So state aid again is something that gives students a good reason to go to post-secondary education because it helps them afford college, even if they're from a low-income family. This is what helps those students that may not have that funding to normally attend a college or university. So our state aid is awesome. I can't say enough about it, for sure. Now let's talk about federal aid. Probably most of us know what the FAFSA is, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Now that's been around for quite a while. So recently what happened is, and I don't know if you guys have even seen anything about this, but this is the first time since I've been, in the industry for a while, speaking about the FAFSA. This is the first time I've seen the FAFSA in the news so much, right? It's been in the news all over, and the reason, it's not a good thing, because it just did not turn out really well. So what happened is, for the 24-25 FAFSA season, the Department of Education created a new system. They revamped the system, right, to streamline it, to simplify it, and it changed a lot, okay? Unfortunately, a lot of things didn't go as planned, and unfortunately that did hurt quite a bit of our students and families this year. All across the country, by the way, not just here in New Mexico, but schools all across the country, states all across the country, their FAFSA percentage rates are down right now, okay? We're down as well. I'll show you that here in just a few minutes. But it had not been a good year for that. Now, as you can tell, even the head of the financial aid office stepped down because of this FAFSA crisis. So that just shows you how serious it was here for the
That's the U.S. education.
Yes, this is the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education. So, one of the head guys up there, Chief Operating Officer, he stepped down because of this. So some heads did roll, but, and I also know the company that they hired to do this, I believe, was General Dynamics. There's not much news about them, but that's the company that they hired to do this revamp on the FAFSA form and the system. And they failed because a lot of the things that we ran into were, coding problems and glitches and things like that. And but you don't hear much about that. And this is General Dynamics is a company that has huge contracts, with the U.S. government. They get billions and billions of dollars from us for, U.S. contracts. Well, probably when they took this contract, they didn't realize how complicated it was, and they probably did not put enough resources and time into it. But again, whose fault is it? Well, it always goes to the top, right? Guess what? Even though somebody else is doing it, the chief, operating officer, it does come back up to him as well. And there's others, it can go up even higher than that. But that just shows you how serious the problem was in terms of the 24-25 FAFSA cycle and all the issues we had with the system. Right now, at this point in time, things are working better, but there's still things that aren't working right. A lot of the colleges and universities are still actually processing award offers at this point in time. Usually those are done around April. So that just shows you how far behind we are. But again, we're finishing up with that cycle. We're hoping as we move forward that things do get better for us. The big thing that really hurt us is it was delayed. Usually the FAFSA form opens up October 1st of every year. So October 1st of every year, students can go in and start getting their FAFSA form submitted and doing everything they have to do to start preparing for the fall of next year, right? Get that federal aid that's available to them. So this past cycle for the 24-25 was delayed. It did not open up until December 31st. A lot of nobody really got on it until the early January. And when they did, that's when they started seeing all these issues and glitches and problems with the system. Students could not get it done. If they did get it done, they didn't know if it went through or not. They couldn't go in and make corrections. Even their FSIDs, they couldn't get those created. It was quite a year for us to help the students and families we all struggled with them, trying to help them. And there wasn't really a lot that we could do, because it was like, a lot of these were coding issues or glitches and things that we have no control over, things we couldn't find workarounds because we couldn't. But over time, the Department of Education started fixing a lot of things that were going on. Again, it's not perfect right now, but at least they were able to start getting them completed. And it was weird because some students could go in and get it done, no problem. Others would go in and have one problem and would continue having problem after problem after problem and couldn't get it fixed. So that was a really big deal for us. There was a lot of changes to the new form that was supposed to happen. Tax return data could be imported electronically. That's great, right? That didn't work so well for some folks. And of course, a lot of other things the biggest thing right now, I think that affected a lot of us too is, for example, the FSA ID. So everybody and anybody that's going to be a contributor on the FAFSA form, meaning they're going to put information on the FAFSA form for that student, needs to create what is known as the Federal Student Aid Identification, which is basically just a username and password, okay? So this also applies to mixed status families. What does that mean, mixed status families? That means you have a student with a valid Social Security number, but the parent does not, right? So now the parent with no SSN, they were supposed to be able to go in and get their FSA ID generated to be able to sign that student's form. That did not work. And to this day, I still don't think it's working right. So that was a big deal here for New Mexico as well, because as you guys probably know, we do have a lot of mixed status families here in New Mexico. So that was another reason that our rates went down. But again, they went down all over the country. So what we tried to do, and we did, we had a lot of additional FAFSA events all over New Mexico. We went out there and we did additional workshops. We did everything we could to try to get more students to come back to the form. Because what happened was students were trying to get the form, they couldn't get it done, A lot of them simply just gave up. It's not working. I can't do it, it's not working, I'm done. They were very frustrated. We were frustrated because we couldn't help it, So towards the end of the season here, we had a bunch of what we call mega FAFSA events, right? So these mega FAFSA events allow students and families to come back to the form, and we help them get it submitted, okay? And we did this just recently. Did we make an impact? I think it did. I think it did help us quite a bit here in New Mexico. Again, New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation did everything we could to try to get more students back to the form. So at this point in time, and this is as of August 16th, okay, as of August 16th, this is where New Mexico ranks, okay? Right now, we are 34th in the nation on FAFSA completions, okay? So what does that mean? And of course, and that's based on our population. So right now, 45.8% of high school seniors from the class of 2024 have completed their FAFSA form, okay? About a little over 45%. Usually at this point in time, we're a little closer to 50. Right now, we're missing about 1,300 FAFSA applications that did not come in this year. Now, 1,300 may not seem like a lot, but 1,300, that is a student. 1,300 students that did not complete their FAFSA form, meaning they may not attend college in the fall this year. So to us, 1,300 is a large number. Those are students we weren't able to help because of probably different circumstances. So how are we doing, compared to the rest of the country? Well, we're certainly not last at the bottom of Utah, Arizona, and Idaho, right? They're at the very bottom. They have the lowest percentage rates. And we're ranked 34 right now, so, we could be doing better, of course, but overall, we didn't finish too bad in terms of comparison to other states in the country. Yes?
My instinct is that it's a higher completion rate on the eastern seaboard, is that right?
I'm not sure about that, so, yeah, don't know for sure. Right now, we base our numbers on what we get from federal student aid in terms of their numbers, and they get information directly from the schools as well. But so that's where we base our percentages. So the information that we get here is from NCAN. We use them quite a bit. The National College Access Network. They get data directly from the Department of Education as well, and that's how they do their rankings, and that's how they do their percentages. So the calculations that they're using is that's what we use to see how we're doing here in the state of New Mexico. So overall, like I said, we finished up. Well, no, there's still stuff going on right now, and hopefully that number will get a little better by the time we're done. But right now we're at 45.8% for New Mexico. Again, not great, but not terrible compared to some of the other states, and not terrible in terms of how we did in the previous year. Last year, I believe we finished at 31 in the nation on FAFSA completion. So we're a little bit better last year. This year's 34, so not so bad. The year before that, I believe we were 29th in the nation on FAFSA completions. So we were doing pretty well, and then of course we got a flat tire with this new revamp that came out. But we'll get there again. Like I said, we're just a little bummed on some of the students we couldn't help with this current cycle. So let's talk about the new one that's coming out, right? We're already at that point in time where we're talking about the 25-26 FAFSA that's going to be coming out. Now, originally we were all hoping that it would open up our usual October 1st date. We were really all hoping that that would be the case. Unfortunately, the Department of Education just told us recently that the new 25-26 FAFSA form will not open until December 1st. So again, it's going to be starting late because again, it usually opens October 1st in normal years, normal conditions. So again, we're going to be a little bit behind the curve there. It's going to be opening up on December 1st for students and families to go in and start their FAFSA form. Now, there is going to be some beta testing going on where students can go in and actually try it after October 1st. New Mexico is working with the Department of Education. We may be one of those states that may be doing some of that beta testing with them. So we may recruit about 100 students and families to do that test with us and see how that goes. And we would provide that information back to the Department of Education. Now, the Department of Education did say if things go well, it may open up before December 1st, but that is a big if. Right now, if anybody asks, they're saying, hey, when does the new form open up? I would say right now, it's December 1st of this year is when the new form will come out. Okay, so, and again, we're crossing our fingers that they fixed a lot of the stuff that was going wrong here in this past cycle. A couple positive things still here. The Pell Grant, and as you guys know, when a student completes the FAFSA form, what are they doing? They're applying for Pell Grant money, or they're applying for grant money. Now, I tell students, you want to apply for scholarships and grants because that's money you do not have to pay back, right? So when they apply for that federal aid, they're applying for grant money. And right now, they qualify for the full amount. They can qualify for up to $7,395 per academic year, okay? That's not bad, especially if you're going to stay here in New Mexico. Now, add the state aid on top of that, right? That's pretty good. Now, of course, federal aid is for any school in the country. You can't take state aid with you. If you're going out of state, you're going to be able to use the Pell Grant. You won't be able to use state aid, of course, but you'll be able to use Pell Grant. So again, and as you know, our state, we do have a high poverty rate. So this helps a lot of families in New Mexico. And that's why we encourage for students and families to complete the FAFSA form, okay? Because that money is available to them. One of the things that I do when I go out to schools and talk to students and parents, I kind of go over the process with them just a little bit. I know you guys probably know some of this already, but I just let them know what they're doing right now. Especially first generation students, right? Families. They've never done this before. This is new to them. They've never done this process. They don't know that they have to get their FSA ID, right? What is an FSA ID? It's a username and password. You can't log into your FAFSA form unless you create your account first. They don't know that it takes 3 days for that to verify. So you can't just create that account and go to your form and start it. It's going to take up to 3 days for that to get verified. Little things like that, they don't know, right? So by us going out there and educating them on some of these things, that really helps them understand how to do the process. Right now, what we're doing here is we're starting a lot of the FSA ID workshops, right? Because we try to promote the students to get your FSA ID now, so when the FAFSA opens up on December 1st, you're ready to go, right? You have your username and password, and then you can log in and get your form started. So that's one of the things that I tell them. Now, why are they doing this process? The entire reason that they're doing this process because we want them to receive an award letter, right? For them to receive an award letter, there's two very important things that need to happen. Actually, three with the FSAID. But one is they need to get their college application submitted with colleges and universities, right? They need to get accepted by that college or university and complete their FAFSA form. So the school, the financial aid office, turning those gears on the back end, can generate that award offer so that student receives an award offer, typically in around April, but right now we don't know since it started in December. I'm sure that's going to be pushed out as well. So those award offers need to come to the student. Why is that important? Because if a student is trying to make a decision if they're going to go to college, where they're going to go to college, those award letters is a big deal because that's how they make their decisions, right? They look at those award letters and say, well, I'm looking at these three universities. This one here makes a lot more sense to me because of these offerings that they're giving me, because of this additional scholarships, merit scholarships, or whatever they include. All the awards letters could be a little bit different because all schools are not the same in terms of what type of funding they have available. Different schools have different scholarships available, right? So this is why it was very difficult for students in the 24-25 to make a decision because they had no clue. Right now, even still, at this point in time, they had no clue how much money award offerings they were going to receive to be able to go to school. How are you going to make a decision where to go if you don't even know what your award offer can be? That's, but they're still doing it. So this is something that I work with these students and parents. When I go out and speak at the schools, I said, this is a process that's going on. A lot of students and parents don't know that there are priority dates, right? I mean, priority dates. What is that to a student, especially first generation? I don't know what that means. Well, priority date means that's the date that the college or university would like you to get your FAFSA form in so they can start processing your aid, right? And that priority date, the reason that's also important because financial aid, federal aid, financial aid, state aid, everything that they put together is first come, first served. Meaning they're going to process those applications. The first ones that come in, they're going to process first. So if your application's in there, you're going to get considered for other aid, right? One thing I do want to mention about federal aid, something that they changed on this recent upgrade that they did, is they took out the question for, are you interested in a work-study program, right? So a work-study program, we all know the work-study program is a job on campus, right, where you can work up to 20 hours a week, I believe, and then they pay you for working there, right? At the school, this is a great thing to do for many students. They took that question off the form. So that is no longer asked. Students have never done this before, have never heard of a work-study program, right? But I always tell them, look, this is what it is. Guess what? The school is not going to know that you're even interested in this anymore because that question went away on the form. It's up to you as the student to contact the financial aid office and let them know that you're interested in a work-study job. And that way they can consider you for those work-study positions that they have available. This is federal, this is aid that's available to that student via a work-study program. We actually here at the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation, we have a work-study as well, and he helps me out with a lot of things as well. My son did a work-study program, which was very good for him as well. He actually got into the IT program that way, and now he actually works for the college, believe it or not. But he started through a work-study program. And also, by the way, not all work-study programs are need-based. My son didn't qualify for a need-based program, but we were able to find one that was not need-based. And so he still qualified for a work-study program. So, and that's another reason, because sometimes, well, my parents make too much money, I'm not going to complete the FAFSA form, Well, that's okay, but you still want to complete it, and this is why. You still might get this, you still might get that, and you still might get that, because that is not need-based, okay? So we always try to encourage students to complete the FAFSA form, even if they think their parents make too much income. Yeah?
Up to what age is my daughter going to be using my income?
Students are considered, and this goes to am I a dependent student or independent student, right? So students are a dependent student to the age of 24.
Okay, with that said,
Yeah.
even though she's living on her own and I'm not supporting her, she
There's,
still has to use my
is she
income?
married?
No,
Does she have children?
no.
Okay, there's certain things, and there's a great page on their website, am I a dependent or independent student, right? So what you want to do, and you know what, I should have brought that with me, I don't have it with me, but there's a really good pamphlet that the Department of Education has, and all you gotta do is go through those questions, and if they're yes or no, it'll tell you if your student's a dependent student or an independent student. So, and I'm gonna give you my email address here at the end, you can email me and I'll send that to you directly. So they have to, by the way they answer these questions, by the way, they're gonna do it on the FAFSA form, the digital, for the application. When they're online, say your daughter goes online, she's gonna answer questions, and at the end, it's gonna say you're a dependent student because, or you're an independent student because, after they answer those questions. But if you want to know ahead of time, I can send you that checklist. It's a really good one. But that's how they do, the application will determine if that student's a dependent or independent student, based on how they answer those questions on the FAFSA online. Okay. That's a good question, and I should have brought some information on that. There's just, like I said, right now there's just so much that we can cover, and I could probably be here for like 2 hours with that. But, so before I go on to the next section, are there any other questions? I'm going to open it up right now. It's a blank screen. I'm going to open it up for any other questions that you guys might have. I know this is a lot of information. And then after that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the presentation that I go through at a high school. And I'll just kind of go through it quickly. That way it gives you a good idea of what we talk about when we go in and talk to your students. Okay? But are there any other questions, or should I just keep going? We're good? Okay. So what I'm going to go through right now is I'm going to go through the slides that I usually do when I go in and talk with students and parents at their school. Like sometimes I do this virtually, sometimes I am there in person. Okay, depends on our schedule. I like to be there in person when I can be. I really do. But sometimes being virtually, what's great about that is we can invite more than one school, right? Because if I'm doing a virtual session, I can invite 3 or 4 schools that same night, right? Because we work directly with the college career counselor and say, hey, we're having an event, a virtual session. You want to send some of your students over to us? So we will get students from 3 or 4 different schools on that same virtual night, right? So that's what's great about virtual, because we can assist more students at the same time from different high schools, no matter where they are in New Mexico. It's always great when we're doing a virtual session and I get a student logging in from Clovis, or I get a student logging in from Clayton, or a small, a small little town like Maxwell. Literally sometimes they have 5 or 6 seniors total. When we get those students coming into our virtual sessions, that's really a cool thing. I love to see that when we get these students coming in from these small communities. And so that means we're getting the word out, and they're coming in and getting the information they need to learn more about what's going on. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. I'm not going to go through every little thing, but I do want you to know that these slides are available on our website. So say you wanted to do a session on your own and you wanted to use these slides, please do. Please do. That's why they're there. And you have any questions, you say, hey, Ruben, I'm doing this presentation tonight with my students. I have a question about this slide. What do you mean? Get a hold of me, because we're working together here. Because if you're doing this on your own with your students, we're helping each other, right? Because I know I can't be everywhere. Even with virtual, it's hard to be everywhere. We don't have a big staff. I have 3 other staff members that are helping me right now. We are hiring, by the way. We're looking for another outreach representative like myself. So if you know anybody, let me know. So some of the stuff I talk about, of course, is preparation, right? If you're a 12th grader, and if we have juniors there, I talk to them as well. But if you're a 12th grader, there's some things that you should be doing, right? You should start doing some planning. And these websites here, like Big Future, for example, they have some great tools on their website. And there's so many tools. Think about it. There's so many tools out there. They can really get lost in the shuffle. And what I tell you, pick something that you like and stick with it. Because there's probably 4 or 5 different websites out there that offer the same type of tool, right? So I always say start somewhere, stick with it, follow the instructions that says on there, and this will help you out tremendously, keep you on track. So Big Futures is always a good one that I talk about. One of the things that I see a lot is students although they have interests, they don't know really what their interests are. I mean, they kind of know, but they don't know. I always like to send them, and I wish there was more of these, but right now we're using My Next Move. So this is an interest inventory, right? So it asks the students a bunch of questions to try to gauge what interests those students have. So that will help them determine what college to look at, right? Based on my interest, this is kind of the best school for me. Or based on my interest, I should really follow this career path, right? So I always tell them, try to do an interest profiler. You know, do this now before you start researching schools. Do this now before you start researching the careers that are out there. Because you really want to know what your interests are. If you're good at things, right? And you like doing certain types of things now. You know, they're young individuals, but they kind of already know what they like. You know, do those fit your interests? And the interest profiler is something that will help them to really know what they want to do moving forward after high school. The reason that's important because if you know your interest, you can research careers. What's out there? Students don't know about all the different careers that are available to them. You know, let me use one example, engineering. We all know there's a lot of different types of engineering programs out there. You know, which one is, you know, of interest to you based on what you like and you think you'd like to do. So I always recommend a couple websites here. I talk about the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is a good one, kind of a national one, but more localized, Pathways to Careers is a good one as well. That's one that I recommend that they go through, and that's a little more local to us for New Mexico. But the thing that I do like about the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics is they have different categories, and if you click on that categories, they have videos that the students can play. Okay, so videos are good. I love learning from videos. I go to YouTube all the time when I'm trying to learn things. But they put videos out there, which is really cool. And they also have apps that they can download on their phone. You know, I always try to go download the app. You know, that way if you're just out and about doing stuff and you have a little time, just watch some of those videos about the different careers that are out there. You know, you might learn something that you didn't even know existed. You know, so I always recommend for them to research the careers that are out there. And again, if they know their interests and kind of the way they want to go in a career, this is when you want to start researching all the different schools that are available to you. Okay. Now, if you want to search schools all over the country, the Department of Education has what is known as College Scorecard. You can just simply Google that, that'll come up, College Scorecard, and that'll tell you a lot of information about that school anywhere in the country. You can just put a state name in there, search all the schools in that state. You can put a city, search schools in that city. Really easy to use. However, yeah, they're going to stay here in New Mexico. We hope that they do. Again, we're trying to keep our students here. We're trying to keep our workforce here. We're trying to educate New Mexicans, right? So if they're going to stay here and take advantage of that state aid that's available to them, the the Higher Education Department here in New Mexico put out a really good flip book that's out there as well, and it'll tell them everything they need to know about all the different colleges and universities we have here around New Mexico. And I said, you know what, it's all right if you know, you want to move away from home and go to school. That's totally good. You know, it's totally great. But you know, if you stay in New Mexico, you could always go to a school in New Mexico where you're further away from home, and again, take advantage of that state aid that's available to you, at least for the first couple of years. You know, because that does help pay for school there. The other thing that we educate on, we go back to the basics, right? We talk about grants and scholarships, gift aid. Students don't know what gift aid means. So grants and scholarships, like I said earlier, grants and scholarships, money you do not have to pay back. If you get a grant or scholarship, that's good, gift aid, that's the type of money we want in our financial aid file. I talk about a little bit about borrowed money, not so much in the detail. I like to kind of let them go to this booklet that the Department of Education put out. It's very detailed, good information on there. And of course, if they need to borrow money to school, you know, again, say you're going to a school here in New Mexico, you got the federal aid, you got the state aid, so you're going to a school further from home, you got to pay for room and board, meal plans, things like that. Well, that's where maybe a direct loan from the federal government may come in handy, and the financial aid office does work directly with the student to help them with that. Okay, so those are out there for you. And I did mention earlier about the work-study program. This is money they can earn while they're going to school. Work-study programs are a good thing to do. And again, I do let them know. How do they know you want a work-study program? Well, you have to call them and let them know you're interested. Some schools may have something on their websites now, but I always recommend for them to call and make sure they ask the financial aid office, let them know that you're interested in the work-study program. That way they can get it in their file. All right, so I think I went too far on that one. All right, state aid. Oh, so I talked about the state aid. We already talked about that, so I won't go into that too much. I do let them know about the FAFSA form online, where to go, what to do. You know, they don't know, students don't know when they're applying for the FAFSA form, they don't know that they're applying for a grant, right? So this is information they don't know. So we let them know, it's a grant, guess what? You don't have to pay that money back, it's a grant. This is another reason you want to do this. This is money that's available to you. And of course, we give them all the links and things they need to know to get to what they need there. And the other thing, this is very important, the FSA ID, like I was saying earlier. This is what they should be doing right now, right? The new high school seniors that are in this class, they can start doing the FSA ID now. That way when it opens up on December 1st, they're not waiting because they have to wait for 3 days for that FSA ID to be verified. So the FSA ID, that's really step one, which we know is just a username and password, but it's a very important username and password because they need that to log into their FAFSA form for the very first time. We talk about who needs it. Anybody that's going to be a contributor, which they call parents are known as contributors now. Even the student themselves is a contributor. Anybody that's going to be a contributor on the FAFSA form is going to require a username and password, right? That's an FSA ID. And again, we're keeping our fingers crossed that the new 25-26 works, and we're able to help mixed status families get their FSA ID for the new cycle that's starting here after December 1st. We talked a little bit about scholarships, researching scholarships. One of the things that I've seen in the last couple of years is students, because they know about the state aid and they hear about the free college initiative here in New Mexico, they think, well, I don't have to do scholarships, everything's paid for. Well, no, it's not. You're going to see some additional things that may not be paid for. And what would be a big help for that? Scholarships, right? And we always recommend that they complete scholarships. We always recommend high school counselors, by the way, especially college career counselors, every year, they do this every year. They have a great list of scholarships students should be applying for in their senior year. Okay? Of course, we have a big list on our website as well. I've been working with the Albuquerque Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for maybe 8 to 10 years now. You know, I've been working with them on their scholarship program. Every year we give out scholarships. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes we have more money that's available than students applying for the scholarships. And sometimes everybody that applies gets a scholarship because we have enough money to give to all the students that apply. You know, so a lot of times the students just don't take the time to do it. And it does take, don't get me wrong, it does take time, you know, to get these scholarships done. You know, they have to create essays and things like that. But it's totally worth it if you get some additional money for your education. You spent maybe 2 hours to get a essay created, get some scholarships done, but that brings you in $4,000 or $5,000. That's, you know, worth your time, isn't it? And that's kind of what I tell students, you know, a little bit of your time might bring you some extra additional money that's available to you. And then, of course, this is where I talk to them about the process in general, things that they should be doing. You know, one of the things I said, look, even though you go to that college on their website, you create your account, you're going to get an email address. Why is that important? Because the college and university, that's the way they communicate now, right? If they need something from you, they're going to send you an email address. Also, by having your account, you have to upload your high school transcripts, right? Things like that. So they go, well, sometimes they think, well, if I create an account there, does that mean I have to go there? No, but it's just part of the process that you need to go through so they can process you and get that award offer to you, right? Cool. All right, so those are things, again, that we work with the student with. So I mentioned our scholarship a little bit earlier as well. Like I said, our scholarship, they don't even need to do an essay. All they have to do is register on our website. We will be starting this back up in September. So high school, this is for high school seniors, so you get your students, those high school seniors, let them know about our website. All they have to do is register. And they stay in the pool every month till it ends. Okay, so even if they don't win in December, January, February, or March, you never know, you might win in April. Because your name stays in the pool, and all I do is random drawings. So I just use a random number generator, I assign a number to them, I use a random number generator, and that's how I pick them. It's, you know, it's that simple. And they just fill it out, you know, literally 15, 20 seconds to get it done. Our URL is there on the bottom, so please let students know about that. I mentioned earlier about our FAFSA Money Mondays. This is a great thing to send students and parents to. If they need help with the FAFSA form, FSA ID, or they just have any questions in general, they can log in with us every Monday night from 3 to 6 p.m. and we will help them virtually answer questions or help them with their FSA ID or help them with their FAFSA form. And we have financial aid professionals that log in with us as well. Okay, so this is another resource that's available for your students to come in and get help if they need to. And that's pretty much what I talk about when I go into the high schools. Of course, I went through this fairly quickly, but that's the presentation that I do there and educate them as much as we can when we come in to speak to students. And you are welcome to use these slides. So I want to share this with you as well. My card is also in the booklet, that packet that I gave you. My business card is in that booklet. You're welcome to email me, call me, if you need anything we can do for you in terms of helping you help your students. That's why we're here, okay? We're a statewide program. It doesn't matter where in New Mexico your students are, we will help them. This is my direct email address there, just reyes@meaf.org, and this is my cell phone number. I usually don't put my cell phone number on the screen for students, but this is my cell phone number. You can call me directly. If I don't answer, leave me a message, I will call you back. Okay. So, again, I really want to thank you guys for attending this session today. I hope some of this information and some of these resources are handy. And please refer your students to us, and if you need us to come into your schools, let us know. We can do that. Thanks for being here today.